Today, we're going to go over how to winterize your travel trailer. Well, at least I'm going to show you how I winterize mine and see if there's any kind of tips or tricks that you could pick up to help you do yours. Alright, for some of the things that I'm going to need in order to winterize my RV are sockets, a ratchet, a funnel, a pair of channel lock pliers, RV antifreeze, and an air compressor. So for the first step, I'm going to locate my low point drains, open those up so that water can start draining out. Alright, the next thing that I want to do is I want to come over to the water heater and take out the anode rod for two reasons. One is to check the anode rod to see if it needs to be replaced, and the other is to drain all the water out of the water heater. Alright, this next step is very important. I got to go inside of my RV and turn on the bypasses for the water heater. There's two valves on my water heater that will actually turn the water heater off to the water system so that when we start pushing all the antifreeze through, it won't push it into the water heater. Alright, now that I got my water heater bypassed, I want to push out all the residual water that I can. I'm going to do that by using one of these fittings. What I'm going to do is put this into where my water hose would normally go, your city water connection, and I'm going to hook my air compressor to it and push air through the system to try to push out any water. The reason I want to do that is to make sure that there's no residual water in there as I start pushing the antifreeze through. Now, a special note to remember, when you put air pressure on your system, do not go over 30 pounds of air. That'll make sure that you don't blow out any of your water lines by air pressure. Alright, now that we've got that done, it's almost time to start pushing the antifreeze through the RV. But before we do that, we got to go back up underneath, close those low point drains so that as we start pushing it through, it doesn't drain back out onto the ground. Alright, this is where the really fun part starts, where you're going to start putting antifreeze into your system so that you can winterize your RV. Now what I'm going to do is take this funnel. It's nothing more than just a garden hose, an old 2-liter bottle, attach them together, take them up, made myself a funnel. I'm going to open up right here the freshwater connection, and I'm going to put this inside of it and start pouring my RV antifreeze in. Now I put in about 4 to 5 gallons of antifreeze. That way I have plenty to be able to run through the system with my freshwater pump. Now, that being said, you remember back before I said I've got that freshwater tank drain. Now having that, any leftover antifreeze that I haven't used, I can open up that drain valve, put it right back into the 1-gallon jugs, and reuse it for another time. Now that I've got the antifreeze inside of the tank, I'm ready to turn on my freshwater pump to start pushing it through the RV. What I'm going to do is go to each one of the faucets. I got 2 on the outside, the little shower heads. I got the faucet in the kitchen area of the RV. I've got the shower. Oh, and that's right, I got a 5th one, the sink in the bathroom also. What I'm going to do is turn all those on until I start seeing the fluid coming through, turn them back off, and then I am done. So come with me as we start getting the antifreeze through the system. Alright, now the antifreeze is pushed through the whole system. Everything has antifreeze in it that it needs in order to protect itself over the winter. Now, in order to get all that antifreeze out, I need one last step to be done. I'm going to take those empty jugs, put underneath that freshwater tank drain all that out, and then flush it. I don't need to run the pump no more, but I am going to put fresh water in there to kind of rinse out all that antifreeze that we had just put in. Now I know you may ask in the springtime, how do I undo all this good hard work that I've just done? Well, it's the same thing that we just did today, but in reverse. That way at the very end, when you open up your water heater and everything else, it's all done and ready to go for you in the springtime. The only difference here is that you're going to use fresh water to do everything that you just did today. So let's go ahead, get what antifreeze I have in the tank now back into the jugs. I'm going to fill up the freshwater tank, rinse it out, and I'll be right back. Alright, one last place that we need to make sure that we get our antifreeze into is the toilet. Now, you don't have to open up the toilet and pour it down into the black tank, but you do need to make sure that your black tank is empty. What you need to do is leave the flap alone. Don't push on the pedal. Pour some of that antifreeze over top of that ring. Put about an inch or two above it. That way, during the winter, that antifreeze will protect that ring. Now for me, I've noticed over the winter time that I've had to go in there periodically and check to make sure that the antifreeze is over top of it. The reason for that is it's a rubber seal. You don't want that rubber seal to get dry over the winter time, so you want to keep the antifreeze over there. Now the reason for putting that antifreeze in there is so that it doesn't freeze while it's protecting your seal. Alright, so that just about does it for how I winterize my RV. If you do yours in different ways, if you have a fifth wheel, you have a waterworks system or anything like that, share that in the comments below, because people are going to be watching this video and they're going to want to know, because that season is coming. So share that down below in the comments for others to read, and maybe they'll connect with you and see how you do yours. Now, another reason that I do mine the way that I do is because we do camp during the winter. Now, I don't want my lines to freeze up while I'm sitting at home, but we do go out quite often, once a month, maybe twice a month in the wintertime. And this system that I've come up with helps me a bunch by having to winterize over and over and over again. So I hope you enjoyed all the content you got out of the video today. Don't forget to leave the comments down below and give me a thumbs up for a like, because YouTube likes that and will direct more traffic to the video. Also, please click the subscribe button if you haven't, and if you have, thank you so much for being part of the IYO community. And as always, have fun, keep your RV safe, and God bless.